All right, so what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Full Circle Podcast. Listen, I know I've been out for like the last couple of weeks here. So I just wanted to say, first and foremost, I know if you were listening to this or if you've been looking at your Spotify, Apple podcast feed, like, where's another episode coming from? I'm still here. I promise. I didn't disappear. I didn't go anywhere. We did shoot that episode about the film Sinners. And obviously, I'm excited to share that with you. We're finishing up editing it. We'll get that out to you as soon as possible. But I wanted to let y'all know I'm still here. I didn't go nowhere. And I do have that episode that I was talking to y'all about Trump's first 100 days in office. We're going to tackle some of that. Just going to be pretty much talking about summer previews of films that are going to be coming up. That is also coming up soon. So stay tuned for that as well. Today's episode, though, I want to pivot a little bit off of an idea that came from a conversation that I had with a friend. And here's the quote, just wherever you are, sitting there, driving, listening. Hopefully you're not watching this while you're driving. I have done that before, but I don't advise it. Sometimes you have to serve the purpose until the purpose can serve you. And I want to dive into that a little bit today and just talk with you a little bit about some of the things that came through on my mind from a conversation that I had with a friend this past week, my dear friend Erica, and I hope this will be of help, benefit to you. So we're going to get into that. Before we do today, though, as I always say, if you have been following this podcast, if anybody has shared any of this content with you, and you're not even following, like, what are you even doing? What is your life? Okay, what is happening right now? Go ahead, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button at _Full Circle Pod on Instagram and at Full Circle Pod on TikTok. You can also follow us on Spotify, and you can go ahead and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. As I say every single week, it is free to support a nigga unless you want to do more. So just keep that in mind. All right, so just diving right into this. Serve your purpose until your purpose serves you. I want to start with this idea and really let me just kind of level the conversational playing field before I even go any further. I believe that every single human being on this planet has a purpose. Now, that might sound like a cliche. You've probably heard that, maybe seen it on a bumper sticker, maybe seen it on your Instagram feed in one of those curated posts, or maybe you even scrolled past and saw somebody talking about it on a podcast, right? Maybe you saw it on Overheard LA, right? One of the most important things about an individual's life and development is that each and every one of us is looking for a sense of belonging. We want to feel like we're part of something in this world. We want to feel like our contributions matter. We want to feel like people care about what we're doing. We want to feel like we're going to leave something behind that people will remember us by. And so in this rat race, chasing after that thing called purpose, that thing called identity, right? A lot of times we start accepting other people's paradigm or other people's window or lens, if you will, almost like I'm looking at you through the lens right now. We start accepting other people's lens about our life. And that can lead to a distortion of our own purpose, right? So I know I started off by saying serve the purpose until the purpose serves you, but I want to ask you a question today. What is your purpose? Have you stopped to identify the thing or the things, right, that you're doing in life right now that is leading you towards that ultimate direction and goal that you have for your future? Do you even know what that looks like? If you're sitting there right now thinking to yourself, oh, Joseph, man, I haven't thought about this in a long time, or that just sounds like guru talk, or, that's great, great self-help little quote or question, but I don't really know if that's for me. You're the exact person I want to talk to today. Now, if you're doing good, right? If you feel like you're on a good track, if you feel like you've got a genuine idea of where you're going and things are panning out, this is still for you today. Because I know at some point in the completion of a circle, you got to hit certain points. It's almost like going around a clock. I know I'm going counterclockwise, but it's almost like going around a clock, right? Even if you know you've got a full circle, you still have to go around the entire clock to make 12 hours and then another 12 hours, right? So there's going to be moments in that cycle of your life, or the clock, if you will, that you might feel that things are really, really great and they're amazing. And there's going to be moments where you don't feel like life is so good. And so this conversation is for you today. So I'm just inviting you in any stage of this. I promise there's something for everybody in our talk today. But I just want to speak to the people right now, maybe the ones that have counted themselves out, maybe the ones that tried to throw themselves into the ring, but you've been counted out by every single person, teachers, trainers, mentors, people that you looked up to, your own friends. Maybe you're making a podcast. Maybe you're writing a script right now, making music, and you're releasing stuff, but no one is really supporting you. I promise that's not passive aggressive. I do love the support. Thank you for your support. But maybe you don't feel like the response that you're getting is equal to the revelation that you have about your own worth, right? And you just quit. You stop chasing the very thing that you thought was going to be so great for your life. Can I just encourage you today? Don't be a wallflower, right? Don't be like the dude that's up in the middle of the club, unless that's who you are. Maybe that's who you are in the club. Don't be like the dude in the club standing up on the wall when his favorite song comes on. And you're scared to actually get in the middle of the dance floor because you're worried about how people are going to think, what they're going to say, how they're going to feel. And really, it's just because it's a reflection of your own lack of self-belief. Can I encourage you with that today? There's no judgment here, okay? Like, we've all been there. I can guarantee you I've been there myself. And that's the beautiful part about this life, is that we all have ups and downs. We have positives and negatives in common that we've experienced. And so if there's somebody in your life right now, they might even be like, digging on you or making you feel less than, just know they're fighting a greater battle than you could ever imagine. And if you can learn to reverse engineer that, the negativity, you can reframe it and get back in the game, you can still continue to move forward with resilience in the face of resistance. So I just wanted to start that off with that. If you don't know what your purpose is, or if you've dropped out or you've been negative about where you're going, there's still space at the table. So just come on back and have a seat and get working. Everybody has different paces that they're going in life. And you have to know that for you to be able to run your race, you have to look at what that race is, and then you have to choose your pace, and it'll go from there. So that's just something that I wanted to start with. What is your purpose? Identify that. It's not my job to tell you what your purpose is, because I'm not God. But I just want to make sure you know, right, that in your pursuit of whatever your purpose is, a couple things will happen. There will be very, very clear signs. There's going to be just this undeniable thing, or maybe a couple things in your life. Maybe it's one or three, right? But there will be undeniable things that no matter how much you try to throw them away, no matter how much you try to walk away from them, I'm not talking about addiction, no matter how many times, right, you try to like say, I don't know if this is for me or this is too hard, it's going to find you. It's going to keep popping up in your life. You might find yourself working a job, and you might have told yourself, I don't want to be an actor anymore, or whatever. And someone walks up to you and is like, I don't know, dude, are you an actor, actress, whatever? There's something about you have this vibe about you. You kind of have that it factor, right? You might find that you may not know what you want to do, but you're really, really passionate about justice, or you're really, really passionate about health, or you just seem to naturally light up or spark up with certain things. Pay attention to that. Those are indicators that might just be, keep in mind, don't at me. Don't at me if you go down a road and spend $10,000 or $100,000 on a certain career and it don't work out for you, okay? Don't at me, okay? But I'm just saying, you might find that if you're consistently seeing certain things pop up in your life, that might be an indicator that that's where you're supposed to go. Lean into it. See what's going on. Check it out for yourself, right? So I say that only because that was personal for me. I had a situation where maybe a couple of years ago, and y'all know I I love sharing my own stories, exposing myself, letting you know what's going on with me. A couple of years ago, I think it was like 2021 or something, I was like, you know, pretty much done. I had said, I'm not doing acting anymore. I'm not doing music stuff anymore. And that was during the pandemic, which was a really, really hard time for me. And I'm sure a lot of us out there. And I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. And I got a job working as a bouncer. And, well, I know everyone says I was a bouncer. I like to think of myself as a potentially aggressive host. That's a little bit longer than a bouncer, but basically when I say that, it's because it's a lot easier to talk nice to people and host them and build good connections, and then occasionally throw the jerks out. Okay, but I say all that to say I completely let go of the idea, okay, of wanting to even do that because I just thought it wasn't going to work out. I was so discouraged and I was so frustrated. And I can't tell you the amount of people. I never sang a song to them. I never stood there and was like, let me do a scene for you. But they would walk up to me and be like, are you an artist? Are you an actor? I don't know, man. It's just something about your vibe. Something about it. Sometimes the clues are within the presence that you carry. Sometimes your perspective is within the presence that you carry. So don't let go. Stay positive. Trust me, it will get better. But going into this part, have you ever given your all to something not knowing if you would ever get something back in return? I know I'm sure some of y'all are like, yes, that's me in a relationship, right? In a friendship, at a job, right? But I really want to kind of lock this into specifically something that you're doing that you believe in, whether that's you want to lose weight, you want to get stronger, you want to get better at a particular, thing. It may not even be career focused. It might just be something that you love personally, right? Serving a purpose before it serves you, it really means that you have to stay committed to the journey before you experience the joys of that journey. Because a lot of times what we're sold in, whether it's social media, where it's, what we see on television, what we see with a lot of success stories, we're shown the payoff, but we don't see the pay forward. I'm going to say that again. A lot of times in life, we are shown the payoff of a thing, but not the pay forward of a thing. We're shown what happened when you were caught between a rock and a hard place and making a decision, or your back was up against a wall, or you weren't sure what was going to come of a choice that you made. And you make the decision and you see the outcome. And then we celebrate the outcome because it worked out. But the person in that moment that was caught between a rock and a hard place of making that decision, well, they didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't know if quitting their corporate secure and safe job, but one that was unsatisfying, to pursue their own business idea or to pursue their own career, and all the learning curves and the growing pains that they would experience would turn into something fruitful. And so I just want to tell you to start, de-glamorize the outcome. De-glamorize the outcome. Stop thinking about what it will look like or how many followers you'll have, or de-glamorize the outcome. Because then you're going to start feeling the pressure of the moment and you won't take the first step. Part of serving your purpose means once you've discovered, hey, this is something that I know I want to do. It doesn't have to be something big or, a whole moment or whatever. It's just you taking that step and realizing, okay, I know I have an inkling. It could be like 1, maybe this is it, or 10, I know 1,000%. And then just keep stepping towards that without thinking about the outcome so much. Put more into it than you're worried about what you're going to get out of it, right? Serving the purpose before your purpose is serving you looks a lot of times like showing up without applause. It's showing up to the gym every single day when you don't see results yet. It's being disciplined and making that nutrition plan at home And if you're like, I'm only going to eat these certain type of foods, I won't eat sugar or processed foods or whatever, you stick to that. It's trusting the long game. It's being faithful when people don't see who you are. When you're going out for auditions and you feel like everybody's getting the part but you. When you keep applying for jobs in your dream field and you feel like you keep getting passed up, or you keep getting the email that says, thanks a lot, we're going to go with other candidates, which I just think that's the most passive aggressive email to send somebody else. It's like, thanks, you suck, try again. You know what I mean? But there is a part of that. There's a huge part of just staying the course and showing up, finding the things that you can make to strengthen your skills or to make you even stronger as you're waiting for that moment, right? And when I say waiting, I don't mean just sitting back and doing nothing, but you're actively waiting. It's almost like waiting a table, right? When you're waiting tables, you put the order into the kitchen. You don't get to see the order yet. But when you put the order into the kitchen, you don't stop and wait till the kitchen pushes the food out for you to then bring it to the table. No, you keep going around. You keep checking on the table. You keep seeing if there's anything else they need. You start checking on other tables. You take new orders. And that by that point, when the food is ready to be released, now you're in a position to serve with readiness. And I think that's the attitude that we have to have in the life that we're living right now. When we put our foot forward and we say, I'm going to consistently do this, I'm going to commit to do this, it means that you, when you don't see things happening, are still consistent and solid with your effort. I'll put it like this. Serving the purpose does not mean you stop watering the seed just because it hasn't broken through the soil. I'm going to say that one more time. Serving the purpose doesn't mean you stop watering the seed just because it hasn't broken through the soil. Because every single time you water that seed, every single time that you give it light, every single time you tend to it, that seed begins to sprout, and it goes from roots to shoots to a plant to a tree to fruit. But that's a process. And I think a lot of times in that process, especially when we go through resistance, because you might be sitting here listening and being like, Joseph, that's great. Startings are great. Beginnings are fun. For some of y'all, maybe you like beginning. But when you start getting through and you start going to the point of consistency and carry through, you can start experiencing self-doubt. You can start experiencing the pressure to pivot and stop doing what you know is working because you want something sexier or glamorous, or you feel like this is boring, right? I mean, I think we deal with that a lot of times, even in relationships. We get into consistent situations, and because we have either self-doubt or we're afraid the shoe's going to drop on the other end, or we don't trust the process, we start looking for reasons. We either try to find reasons to crash it, self-sabotage, or we're always trying to improve it, which is still self-sabotage because you don't feel like what you're doing is good enough. Can I just encourage you today, when nothing is happening or when you feel like nothing is happening, everything is being built? Can I encourage you with that? When you feel like the consistency is not yielding good progress, maybe your character is being built in that moment. Maybe your reliability and your ability to stick to something and not break ground, not shift ground, that's being built in you in this moment. And all you got to do is hold on and keep rolling. I think your purpose begins to serve you when you have not event shifts, but mindset shifts. I once heard someone say something. He said the moment that a storm shifts is not when it's not when you look up and see that the situation is changing, but it's when you start seeing past the storm in your life. when your perspective changes. When your perspective changes, you make different decisions. You speak differently and you think differently. In situations where you may have reacted aggressively, gotten upset, maybe sent that text in a rage, you reframe moments. You reframe delay. You reframe events that are happening in your life, and it changes the way you engage with the world around you. Your purpose, I believe, starts serving you when you have a shift of perspective about what's happening in the middle, what's happening in the moment where it seems like nothing is going to change, and you begin to embrace the storm instead of running from it. You stop swimming against the current and you go with the current. So that's something that I think is super important for us to keep in mind. And, as I always tell you guys, I'm very, very big on practicality. I don't like to just tell you guys, oh, it's out there in the ether. Let me just give you some, idea like I'm some guru or something. I like to give you practical steps. So I'm going to do a couple of those today, and I wrote some of those down. Before the purpose can serve you externally, you have to serve it internally. In your mind, your words, your habits, and your interactions, right? So what I want you to focus on this week, change your language, change the lens on your camera, right? Because that's all it is. You are the camera. The lens that you put on is how you get to see it. So change the way you say it. So instead of saying things like, I'm just trying to make it, say, I'm building something that's aligning every day. Instead of saying, nobody sees me, I feel invisible, say, I'm growing in the shadows where roots are getting deeper. And when you begin to hear self-limiting beliefs in your mind, see yourself as the observer of your thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. You are the observer of them. So think about it as you're watching two people out in public. We're at a restaurant or a bar, and you're just observing them, having a conversation. You might have an opinion about it. You might have thoughts about it. You're not going to maybe walk up to them and get involved in the conversation, right? But just become the observer of your thoughts and see what happens. What's one phrase or a couple phrases that you see that keeps you stuck? I want you to write them down this week. I want you to write them down. Share them with me. Focus on becoming. Number 2, focus on becoming, not arriving. Your life is about your destiny, not a destination. So your destiny is about who you are becoming. Your destination is about where you're going. We are always going to be arriving at new points. Who we are in the process and who we're becoming is more important. So don't say, I'm an aspiring actor. Say, I am an actor. I'm just in training. Don't say, I'm trying to get better at storytelling. Saying, I'm a storyteller in progress. Change the way you say things. And then I just want you to, this week, in finality, commit to micro advancements, small steps. Celebrate those wins every single day. I'll leave you guys with this. Just because events are happening in your life and things aren't going viral doesn't mean you're not having vital moments. Just because it's not happening on the big screen, just because everyone's not celebrating the progress, the weight loss, the second layer of abs that's coming in, right? The job promotion, you celebrate it. It may not be viral, but it is a viral part of the foundation of you growing more confidence and you getting more strength. Remember, meaning is more important than metrics. And if you can focus on that, I believe it's going to change the whole way that you view yourself. So keep that in mind. And when you feel tempted to put all the focus on yourself, see who you can help. See who you can serve. See how you can get out of yourself and into helping other people. I can promise you it will change the way that you view your life, the purpose that you're pursuing, and how that purpose ends up serving you. Listen, that's all the time that I have for today. If this has been of any benefit to you, if you're listening to this and this was something that you enjoyed, let me know. What are some of the self-limiting beliefs that you have? What are some of the purpose questions that you're pondering right now? What are some ways that you want to see your life increase as a result of a change of perspective? You could be at the starting line. You could be close to the finish line. I want to hear about it. Go ahead and shoot me a DM at _fullcirclepod and on TikTok at fullcirclepod. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as I love to say, have a great one from your favorite brother. Peace.